Yo, what's going on, man? Top of the morning, bright early, sun is out, it's cold, first day of November. It's also been a while since I've done any video of any type speaking on anything. So, YouTube, man, what's going on? I'm gonna jump right into it. Y'all see the title, man. We're gonna talk about them Spurs. Okay, it's been a while since I've, like I said anything. I don't think I've said anything about the Spurs since the offseason. So, a lot to, analyze. Last night, big win on the road against Utah. I know Utah's struggling. They're winless, but I still think it was a big win. We know Utah's better than what their record shows. They do have talent over there. I think it was a big win, especially after the back-to-back losses we had, and more importantly, it was bigger for Wembanyama to have a major 5x5 game. 29 points, was it 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, 5 blocks, monster game. After the media and all the haters were very, very loud after their game against OKC and his performance against Chet. Everybody was really coming out the woodworks, man. You see Kendrick Perkins basically saying that he hasn't lived up to the hype and all that type of stuff. And we know it's going to be like that. I mean, we saw it when he first got drafted, when he was in the summer league, how everybody was acting. They was calling him the biggest bust ever, the biggest bust ever after one summer league game. So we gotta expect anytime Wemby's on the big stage and he doesn't perform, you're gonna see the haters come out. I think Wemby's gonna have a little bit of that. As he grows, he's gonna have a little bit of that LeBron type of effect where he's either loved or hated. I can see Wemby in that category where he's going to have a lot of people who are huge fans of him, and then you're going to have a percentage of people who just genuinely just hate him because of the hype he's gotten. And it's not like it's Wemby's fault, but I just think that's where we got to just deal with as Spurs fans. Whenever Wemby or even the Spurs don't perform up to par, you're going to see a lot of people come out. Now that that's out the way, that was just basically a recap of where the Spurs are right now. 2-3, 5 games in, 3 losses to, I'm going to say, good teams. Houston is very talented. A lot of people expect them to make a jump this year. Obviously, we lost the opening night to Dallas, Western Conference champions last year, and then OKC, best record in the NBA. Some people got them picked to go to the finals. So, no shame in the losses. I think overall the Spurs you can definitely see the difference of veterans. I mean, Chris Paul was amazing last night. So I think they're definitely way better. I still stand on my prediction of them being a play-in team this year. I think they're going to be hovering around 500 the whole year. And one thing the Spurs have to do in order to be a play-in team is they're going to have to sneak a few wins against some good teams, and they're going to have to beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and they're also going to have to stay away from long losing streaks. And so as long as they do that, I do see them hovering around the 500 mark, which I do believe will get them in a play-in situation. We know the West is loaded, but I do see them being in the play-in game. But I'm going to talk about Wembanyama, okay? I am a huge Wembanyama fan. I do believe Wembanyama is going to go down as one of the all-time greats as long as he stays healthy and keeps developing, which I believe he will. I know Pop came out yesterday and said that he basically wants Wemby shooting threes. He believes Wemby is a better perimeter player than he is a post player. So, a lot of criticism has come Wemby's way with the shot selection and the amount of threes he takes. Like, he had a great game last night, but the only knock was people say that, he shot too many threes. I think he took like 12 or 13 threes last night. His three-point percentage definitely has to improve. But I was watching a game last night, and Sean Elliott spoke on something that I 100% agree with. And now I'm going to put my basketball coaching hat on. when Wemby sets those high pick and rolls with Chris Paul, he doesn't roll hard enough. And you can see where he's setting that high screen and roll, and he's just floating around the three-point line. Now, is it all the way a bad thing that he does that? No, because I think Wemby is capable of making threes. He's getting a lot of open looks, so he is capable. He's capable of hitting those shots. I just think there comes a time in the game where if you're hovering around that three-point line and you're just firing away threes, and they're not going in, I would like to see Wemby roll a little bit harder so Chris Paul can make that pocket pass. I can't – real hoopers know what I'm saying. Like, there should be – the vision on the court should be Chris Paul coming off that screen and Wemby rolling to the point where him and Chris Paul are basically parallel from each other so that Chris Paul can hit him with that quick pass. He can even shoot the mid-range. He can either attack the basket or even shoot that mid-range. I just don't believe it should always be a pick and pop for Wemby. He's setting a lot of pick and pops at times where I do think he can either roll a little bit harder to get to the basket and or shoot that mid-range. I think, this is just me. I'm not the coach. We know Pop is one of the best basketball minds the game has ever seen. So this is not me like ranting about what Pop's not doing. It's just more of what just the fan in me and the basketball coach and trainer in me, what I would like to see Wemby do that I think can take his game to the next level. I could be wrong. I'm not a part of the Spurs organization, right? But I think if Wemby took a little bit more out of LaMarcus Aldridge's playbook, I think Wemby can be dominant even as a jump shot shooter. Because I know everybody wants Wemby to just go to the paint. You're 7'5", but what people don't realize is, yes, he's 7'5", but if he just plays only in the post and operates in the post, I don't think Wemby's going to last that long because of his height and the way the guys are getting physical with him. He's going to get banged up a lot just posting up. And it doesn't make him soft. It's just more of his frame. Like, his frame is not meant to just take beatings down low every game, all game long. So I think ideally the Spurs, I'm just guessing, I think ideally the Spurs would much rather have him be a perimeter player because I think that's what they believe is going to help him last. Like I said, I know fans want to say he's 7'5", he should be posting up. And there are times where I do believe he should post up. But I'm just trying to think where they're coming from. I just think that they believe that his game will last longer if he is a perimeter player. So I do kind of see what Pop is saying. But I just think that he can still operate a little bit more inside the three-point line. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a post-up. Like, I look at Wemby, like, with his height, like, from LaMarcus Aldridge to Dirk Nowitzki. Like, Dirk Nowitzki wasn't a back-to-the-basket post-up player. And he was much bigger than Wemby as far as, like, body mass-wise. He was much wider, much more physical in terms of his frame than what Wemby is. Obviously, Wemby is taller. But I just see Wemby being able to operate more from, like, the arc inside the three, mid-post area, or if he is setting that high pick and roll, rolling, maybe coming with a soft roll, still going towards the basket, but a soft roll so that he can hit that midi off the pick and roll. I just think those are, like, to me, those are things that I think Wemby can do to maybe get his game going first when he's not hitting those threes. Because when I watch him play and he's hovering around that three-point line, like, I think there was a stretch in the game last night where he had shot, like, maybe like 5 in a row shots that came from Wemby. Wemby's shot 5 shots in a row that were, like, all three-pointers. And it's like, to me, I'm like, okay, we know he can shoot. He's open. It's great looks. But I would just love to see him come with maybe more soft rolls to where he can get those mid-ranges a lot more. You've seen it more in the first half where, he would get to the mid post, turn around, jab step, and shoot right over the defenders. Like those are, to me, Wemby can be so much better as a mid-range shooter. I think last year he finished one of the worst mid-range percentages in the league. So maybe that's why the Spurs don't want him shooting mid-range shots. But I just think it's something that that can take his game to the next level because nobody's going to block that shot. When he gets to the mid-post or he comes with a soft roll after the high spin and roll and he's able to get to that midi, nobody's blocking that shot. Nobody's blocking that shot. So, I mean, for me, that's the trainer and coaching me. That's what I see Wemby has to take the next step on. Is not relying so much on the three-point shot, but he doesn't have to necessarily just go post up and get banged up either. Hit those middies, get to the mid-post, turn around face-ups. I think Pop even said he wants Wemby facing up a lot more. Like, I would just love to see him be LaMarcus Aldridge type or operate from the LaMarcus Aldridge type of areas, Carmelo Anthony type of areas, Dirk Nowitzki type areas, who are all phenomenal mid-range shooters. I think he would become a much more dynamic scorer. I think that's where we'll see his points per game go from, instead of being in the 19, 20, 21 range, I think his numbers can increase to the 25, 26, 27, 28 range. It's just, operating from those areas a little bit more. Now, obviously, it's 5 games into the year. It's early. And like I said, I'm not a coach on the Spurs staff. So, I'm not here to talk about, the Spurs staff and make it seem like they don't know what they're doing. They obviously know more than all of us as fans. But it's just something that I see that I think can make Wemby a much better player. So we'll see how the season goes and how he progresses. They play tomorrow at home against Minnesota. That'll be another test. Spurs are getting some really, really good matchups early in the year, which I think is really, really good for them and their confidence going forward. So it'll be exciting to see them compete against Ant-Man and the Wolves tomorrow. And then, you got Gobert out there, so it'll be another test for Wemby. Good defensive player he's going up against. So that'll be very, very interesting tomorrow. But, yeah, man, I'm on my way to get this rental car. Delta College first tournament this weekend. I'm back on the JUCO sidelines. So I'm getting ready for that right now. That's why it's so early, and I got my backpack on, my gear on. So I'm on my way to do that. You guys will hear a little bit of updates on that as well. It's game 1 of the year. We got Gavilan College tonight down in Santa Cruz. So that'll be a fun deal. So I'm going to go take care of that. But make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, man. I know I've been in and out, not really posting as much lately, but we'll be getting back to the grind for sure. All right? Like, comment, subscribe. We out.